This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Another Happy Pod, the show where we keep it fresh. I've immediately fucked it, Nathan.
Sacked.
I've immediately fucked it. No, we don't keep it fresh. Well, we do, but we also talk about pop culture and we try and keep things positive. We don't always succeed, but we have a good time doing it. Yeah, we do, I suppose. I mean, we don't get paid. It would be more fun if we got paid.
Oh, this was a mistake. This was massively a mistake. No. Well, I'm never letting you do that again. Hello, welcome to the podcast. My name's Nathan. I'm joined by him.
Me.
I'm not going to call you any names this week because I don't want to do too much editing.
Fair. That's absolutely fair enough. Nathan, how was your week?
It was fine. I spent the weekend at my mum's house looking after my dog sitting for the weekend, so that was fun. I ordered a new chair, which has been dispatched as of today. So
you got your notification?
I got my notification. It finally came through. Wait. So my new Secretlab throne will be arriving pretty soon, hopefully.
Lovely.
Spent fucking 450 quid on a chair, so you want it to be good.
It's true, you do. And it will be. I've personally tested this chair out on my very own bottom, and it is very comfortable.
Right, mine will be better, though, because it's soft weave fabric.
That's true. I couldn't get that because my cat would pick at it and use it as a scratch post thing.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a you problem. So what are we talking about today then, Lawrence? Oh, wait, no, how was your day or week or whatever?
Thank you. I got my back up there. I was like, I can't believe this is about to happen. So my day has been fine. I treated myself to a day off, and I also got shut up. I also got myself double vaccinated for that little disease. I don't believe too much in it. I think this is a good opportunity to say
stop. No,
I think this is a good opportunity to say that COVID.
All of this is getting believed.
A so-called COVID-19.
You are just a series of
big lie. No. Big lie. Big lie.
Okay, well,
I think it's all time we admit it.
Okay,
on the off chance Nathan doesn't cut that out, because I know he doesn't want to do a lot of editing, I do believe it's real, and go and get yourself vaccinated. Right, yeah, I got double vaxxed, and I had a nice day off. I'm feeling okay. My arm's a bit sore, but other than that, I'm okay. I was a little bit pooey earlier, but I think that may have been me overthinking it and a bit of placebo pooey. Nathan, what are we doing today?
I already asked you that.
Yeah, but it's your episode, and you told me that you were planning it, so you go ahead.
No, you.
What a unique way to tell us that you've done no planning on this whatsoever.
I have. I've. Did you know what? I've actually got a very big surprise planned for you.
Is someone coming on?
Why? If someone was coming on, don't you think they'd be here by now?
You might have planned them. You might be texting them, and they might be waiting. Oh no, I'd have seen that you would have added them to the server.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Garrett. How are you?
Oh my god!
Hi, Nathan. I'm very well. How are you?
No fucking way!
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Welcome to the pod.
I guess
Thanks, Nathan.
down to the last second.
So, wow. Lawrence, sorry, mate. I'm talking.
I'm
really good, Nathan. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad at all. Good to hear you. It's been a while.
Yeah, you too. I'm glad you're doing well. I miss you very much.
Garrett, I don't know if this made the cut, but in the last episode, or we might have finished at this point, but I said we shouldn't do that episode without Garrett, and Nathan went, yeah, but Garrett doesn't want to fucking do it, does he?
And I already knew this was happening when I said that.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, okay, I feel a little bit bad about it, but we'll go ahead. Hi, Garrett, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Lawrence. I feel very welcome. Do you guys have really good craft services here? It's good.
We do. We have welcome to the studio. There's Craig. He's our producer.
I'm familiar. I've worked with Craig before on a couple of D&D projects.
Oh, Craig, he does get about. He does get about.
He did definitely lose some of my recordings, but it's fine.
Hey, Nathan's done a few of that himself.
Yeah, but I managed to get them back in time. So Lawrence, what are we doing?
No, don't. No, you do not do this. Nathan, what are we doing?
Fucking hell, fine.
Well,
right.
guys, we're talking about Assassin's Creed.
There we are. Garrett has already done it. So there we are.
I don't know if you had like a thesis, if you were just like Assassin's Creed is, or if you were just like Assassin's Creed discuss.
I mean, kind of a bit of both, but I just wanted to generally talk about like the state of the franchise and like where it's kind of led to up until this point, because it's massively changed over the 12 or so years since it came out.
Longer than that. When was Assassin's Creed? Or maybe it is
2007.
2008 that Altair entered.
Right. Okay. So yeah, 13 years then, just about.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a while, and it was pretty much like the first AAA game, really. Like, and it was the basis for AAA games, and now it's kind of, some would say devolved, some would say evolved into this big RPG sort of thing. So what do you think about the franchise as a whole, Garrett?
I've been a massive fan of that style of game before that game came out. I was a huge Metal Gear fan originally, the stealth action game. And then Assassin's Creed came along, and Altair was sick as fuck. Can I swear on your podcast?
Of course you can, yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure before, in case you've got like any masters you need to serve that say no, sorry, like a network or something.
No.
You think this is bigger than it is.
I'm trying to hype you guys up, all right? So shut the fuck up, Lawrence.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, in 2008, I mean, that's what, the same year that GTA 4 came out as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We were kind of all edgelords then, from what I remember. I was a teen. A guy comes along with a blade on his wrist. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. And then he's got a big hood on, and I'm like, yeah, all right, fucking, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it took off from there. The first game was amazing, and then Assassin's Creed 2 came out and was one of the best games of all time. Then Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, and it was like, all right, well, they somehow made that even better.
Yeah.
And then a couple other games came out, and then I guess they stopped making them all entirely, and then it ended there, and it was fine.
Yeah, so a lot of people would say it did kind of go downhill after, like, the Ezio trilogy, really. But Lawrence, what do you think about it all?
So yeah, like I've always like I was playing the Assassin's Creed games like when I had my little fucking tiny 19-inch TV like in my room. Like I did enjoy the games. Assassin's Creed, like obviously Assassin's Creed, the first game. I remember thinking I think the ideas are bigger than the game is allowing it to be. But then yeah, like Assassin's Creed 2 came along, that was great, and then like I have the same opinion about Brotherhood. I've both been a fan and not a fan of where they've ended up. Like I think they got, in my opinion, a bit crappy. Then they got much better, and then they got a bit crappy again. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Right. Okay. And you're both of the opinion that Brotherhood is better than AC2. Is that right?
By a lot.
Played them in a while.
It's like it was almost a continuation. It's why it's not 3, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or I suppose Revelations. I think from what I remember, it was a better game. It just kind of built on the success of 2. You can play them back to back as just a follow on, and it's
you absolutely can, and I have recently. And yeah, they absolutely do work like that. I think that in terms of game mechanics, the Brotherhood is better because like it just perfected the combat, and the parkour and everything like that. But in terms of the actual story itself, I think 2 is better overall.
Sure, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, and then so after the kind of Ezio trilogy finished, we then took a change and went into AC3, which was a little bit different because now we had this new character who a lot of people, and myself kind of included, would argue doesn't really have much charisma. He's like
his name.
Exactly. Connor was his name.
Do you know his Native American name?
Radun Hagedon.
All right, cool. I was going to call you up on it.
So fuck you.
He's got a cheat sheet in front of him, doesn't he?
I don't actually.
No, in fairness, Nathan just often say that to each other.
Yeah. I don't know say Raton Hakaton?
Yeah,
we do.
All right.
We love other things.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd love to tell you that was a lie and a joke, but it's not.
Yeah, so he was introduced, and it is difficult going from Ezio, arguably the fan favorite of the franchise, really charismatic, really fun character, to then this kind of just very bland, very emotionless, very one-note character. It's a bit of a change.
Yeah,
I think that while the characterization wasn't great, I think a lot of the story beats were actually quite stellar. I mean, that has probably one of the most interesting openings up to that point. It's a bit of a long one when you want to replay
it's so
it.
long.
I
It's so long.
just replayed that opening, and it fuck me.
if you are somehow lucky enough to go into that blind, and then spoilers, the realization is you've been playing as a Templar, and then you get the sudden shift where you then actually play as Connor. It is really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see it coming because the guy on the box is not that guy. But no, it is a really interesting opening. Some of the story beats are interesting. I think that's one of the points where because the game as it is, as this parkour game, like parkour stealth action, really, it doesn't lend itself to the environment they made in that game.
No, but that's when they introduced new environments.
Exactly.
Like they introduced the nature, and like you can climb the trees and all that sort of stuff.
Right. They had to then tailor those environments where it's just like, oh fuck, okay, we got to make all the trees touch. They've all got to be able to be climbable, and because otherwise it's kind of what we have now in Assassin's Creed.
The amount of slanted trunks in that game is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like how they justify getting from one place to another.
How are these tree branches not breaking under this man's weight?
And he's a big guy as well, Connor. He's fucking he's a unit,
he's a hefty
man.
Dude.
So they absolutely should break. But no, I would agree with that. The story, there is quite some really good story elements in AC3. Not necessarily. I think modern day kind of takes modern day's always taken a dive, really. But I think it massively goes downhill in AC3 though. It's just like completely off the rails in terms of like, 2012 is actually this thing where Juno was a god and she is going to destroy the world again, but she doesn't because you're Desmond and you're the one or something.
I've got a whole grievance with that level of Assassin's Creed. I think
the modern day stuff.
Not the modern day stuff so much. The modern day stuff has never really been too strong. However, it is a sci-fi. Obviously, we've got this machine, an Animus, that can read your DNA to look through your history and recreate it, right? Which I think is actually a really interesting thing. And you've got Abstergo, who are this evil company, with an evil logo, and they do evil things. Simple as.
Yeah.
I think it's enough to have an evil Illuminati company want to learn secrets about the past to control the present without having to go, like, they don't need magical items and magic. I've always thought this in Assassin's Creed. It has never needed something like these ancient beings and apples of Eden and like magic swords. And especially because in every single game, it doesn't happen until the last 5 minutes anyway, where you just pick up an apple, do a bit of magic, and then that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
There's never any point to it. And it's never the crux of the game. The crux of the game is always like, oh, fuck, I'm in the 1500s and I'm in Turkey and I'm, Constantinople. Ezio, where is your hook blade? That's like, that's the game there. You don't need magic.
Like it's already got an interesting enough hook, and then they just kind of overblow it and overcomplicate it, which I think, that is definitely one of the main problems with the whole franchise. Like they were kind of simple, you could keep up with them, but like for example, if you hadn't played like the last couple of games and you go into Valhalla, I don't know if you've played it, Garrett. Have you?
I have. I've put 80 hours into Valhalla.
Jesus, I think if you go into Valhalla without playing many of the last games, you're just gonna go, I don't have a fucking clue what's happening.
I think you would for strictly the modern day stuff, but for the main bulk of the story, you'll be fine. And I feel that's the same for most of the AC games.
Well, genuinely, playing Valhalla just then, when you mentioned the modern stuff, I'd forgotten that you actually play as the woman in the modern times.
I mean, there really is.
You're in a hut in the woods, right?
Yeah, you're in a hut, you're in America or something, in the world's ending or whatever. But
because of the actions after 3.
Yeah, and Desmond is back, but he's now a ghost or something.
It means nothing. Like, it doesn't matter, and they should just retcon it and just do the past. If they're gonna do the present, like just the world isn't ending. Just I don't know. Like that's because that's supposed to be your stakes, right? That's your bomb going off under the table.
Yeah,
like on a ticking time bomb is like, oh, we need to go to the past to figure out how to stop the world from ending. But you don't give a shit. I'm playing as Ivar for this time, and I genuinely, like, we'll talk about it once we get there, but there's so many good story beats in that I don't care that the world is ending in modern day. I want to know how to make my settlement bigger. I want to do these side quests and all this kind of stuff. But
yeah, I completely agree. It just completely brings the story to a halt in sometimes, and I think they realize that because with AC1, you're like, after like every kind of like chapter, you're pulled out of the Animus and you have to like do a thing and look at something or talk to someone and all that sort of stuff. And then like from that point, like after AC2, it's always gotten less and less as each game goes on, with like how much modern day stuff there actually is. And sometimes it's just completely optional. Like in some games, you can just play through the entire thing without having any modern day stuff. I think like Unity and the one in London, I forgot what that one's called, but they did that too. So yeah, they realized that, but now they're kind of like slowly starting to put it in again, and it's very much to the franchise's detriment. I think
I try and spend or like clock in as few hours as possible in the modern day. Like it will take me out, and then it will be like, by the way, you've got some emails to read. I'm like, no, I don't. Nope. I couldn't give a fuck. Nope. Back in the Animus ago.
There's so many emails and people and just things you can interact with, and it's the most. It's like they go and pick up an artifact, and then they just say like something like, "Oh, an Ankh from Egypt. Wow, this was and this. I don't give a fucking shit. Skip. Let me play it.
And then your database thing gives you like a paragraph. Like, you've unlocked some new information that I don't care about. Like, do not care. Amazing, yeah.
Funnily enough, the game that I think did do the modern day stuff quite well, and I just spent quite a lot of time shitting on it, but I think it was AC3, because that introduced the missions as Desmond. Like, there was only 3 of them, I think. But I did think those were actually quite fun. Like, there's one where you're like going through like a wrestling event
in stadium.
Or something. Yeah,
you go over the rafters and stuff.
Sequence.
Yeah.
Because my problem isn't, because this is actually part of the sci-fi part of it, right? The science fiction where he've spent so long as them that he literally has the muscle memory of them. I really like that. And I think that was really interesting and could have played into something great before the world ends because a deity came out or whatever. I do really like that. And I agree. There were some very interesting things they brought up there.
I think the problem with that, though, is then towards the last mission of those, because there's 3 of those missions in the game, but then in the last one, he just has a gun, and then it's just boring. Because you can just shoot them and that's it now. So
I barely even remember the gun thing. I must have blocked it.
Yeah, he has a gun and then it's very pointless.
The gun makes me laugh because of like Ezio's bleeding effect. I'm sure the reloading process would be very different from the guns that Ezio has.
Yeah,
compared to Desmond and his Glock.
What did you think of Black Flag, Garrett?
I honestly, while I enjoyed the game, I think that was the first real departure from it being kind of a stealth action game.
Yeah.
To the point where that game was paced quite roughly. Like, it's always been rough in Assassin's Creed games. Follow missions have always been the worst part of it, where it's just like, keep this person in your sight, follow them across the rooftops. But in that game, it just dragged. And they did such a good job, I think, of making a fun pirate game that they should have just made a Black Flag game. It was just Black Flag. And I think they've made plans to make like Skull and Bones or something like that they're working on. But yeah, I think that was just, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere behind the scenes, some of them, like an offshoot of their team, was working on a pirate game, and then they were just like, all right, well, it's an Assassin's Creed game now, fuck you.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think there's 2 Assassin's Creed games which like barely have anything really to do with the Assassin Order. One of them is Valhalla, the most recent one, and the other one is Black Flag. Those two have like for the main bulk of the game, they have the least to do with the assassin order. I mean, you're not even an assassin until the very end of Black Flag. And I hate it in Valhalla, but I actually don't mind it in Black Flag. I think I was just enjoying probably like you say, the pirate sim too much for that to really bother me, because it is a fun pirate sim, and the naval battles and all that sort of stuff, they're fun and they do work really well. But you are right, the trace missions, the track and all that sort of shit, that definitely does bog it down.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was carried by Kenway quite a lot of that. He's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people rank him closer to Ezio than others.
I definitely would. I'd say
he's my top. I think he's my top 3. Yeah, he's my top 3. He's third in my top 3, but he's my top 3.
Okay, what do you think of Black Flag, Lawrence? You like it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but Garrett isn't wrong at all. Like, I do think. So obviously, Assassin's Creed had the kind of the reboot in terms of the combat and the gameplay style. This was obviously before that, and I do think it suffers because of that. There are definitely some tedious missions. It does fall victim to a lot of kind of some boring shit. But the stuff at sea, given that I think only Assassin's Creed 3 did this before, it's really well realized, and it's fun to play. The lack of assassin thing, like Nathan said, that doesn't bother me at all. Like, I do quite enjoy playing it. It'd probably be quite hard to go back to it now, because I don't know what those mechanics would feel like compared to the new games. But overall, all I remember from it is having a good time playing it.
I think it's pretty much the same. Yeah, the online is dirt. I think it's pretty much just the same as AC3 in terms of the mechanics. It's the same engine and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's just a touch up on that basically. After that we go to, well, they released 2 that year. There was AC Rogue and AC Unity. Unity was the big one for the next generation, PS4 and Xbox One.
It was their first ever next gen one.
Yeah.
Do you know the days that they both released?
Sometime in November, I think.
They released on the exact same day.
Right. Okay. But only one of them was only on PS3 and Xbox 360, and then one of them was only on PS4 and Xbox One. So
correct.
If you only had one console, you couldn't get them both. Which at the time, I only had my PS4. I'd already sold my PS3. So I was fucked.
Well, I mean, if you had an Xbox One, you could play the 360, but that's,
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Microsoft over there. I didn't take advantage of the backwards compatibility.
Sorry, let me just close Quake, an original Xbox game playing on my Xbox Series X.
Garrett, do you like the Spider-Man game?
Yes, I have it on my PlayStation 4.
Oh, fuck.
This is Garrett. He's got all the consoles.
I know.
I am a epic gamer.
He's he's a pog champ, as they say.
I am your little pog champ. That's true.
How many Monster Energy drinks do you consume per hour?
You know what? I actually don't anymore. I used to. I used to drink about 4 a day. Way back when. There was a time when Destiny came out in 2014, and there was a deal, like a thing they had, a promotion they had with Rockstar Energy, where the ring pull would give you a bit of gear. And I was so hyped for the game that I bought maybe about 100 Rockstar Energy drinks before the game came out, collected all the ring pulls. And if I saw someone drinking, I'd be like, hey, can I have your ring pull? And then I finally got the game, used the ring pulls, and the gear was blues. They weren't even purples. They weren't even purples, lads.
I don't even know.
Let alone exotics. They were blues, and I was.
My heart bleeds for you.
Well, my heart was going a bit fast and probably bleeding internally.
Yeah, that would make sense. Do you have 2 monitors and a light up keyboard with the LGBT lights?
I do have 2 monitors. I don't have LGBT lights though. I have a non light up keyboard and non light up case.
You would say that you're not an ally then?
No, I hate the gays.
He does. He does.
Yes, I do. Yes.
He's told me to fuck off on many occasions.
Yeah. No, my track record, I go to Pride just looking for a fight.
You go there with a mean face on.
All right, so AC Unity and AC Rogue.
Yes.
Clearly AC Unity was like the one they was focused on more. Like, this is going to be the big seller. This is going to be the favorite amongst the fans and all this sort of stuff, and Rogue is just a fun little add-on to what came before. But clearly that fucks up, and it was kind of the opposite, the reaction.
It was the reverse, yeah, completely.
What do you think of those two, Garrett?
One of the biggest problems is Rogue, because Rogue built on 4, right? Well, really, it built on 3, and then it built on 4. So they kind of were able to hone it. It was like actually a very, very good game that fell under the radar because the newest one came out and received a lot of negative press. Assassin's Creed Unity had kind of the perfect storm in development hell. It was they had 3 years turnaround, I believe. They started in 2011, released in 2014. And they were working on it's a whole new engine. If you've played it, you'll know. It's like that's what they then built on for Syndicate.
Even to this day, I think it's still probably the best looking of the AC games.
It is. I 100% agree. That is the best game to have a walk around in. You just go walk up to Notre Dame, and in that game, it's actually breathtaking. I think
it's so populated as well. There's so many just actually huge crowds and stuff, which work really well for it as well.
The problem is we say that with hindsight, and I am of the thinking, and I would fight this for a while, that Assassin's Creed Unity is the best Assassin's Creed game, at least in my view of what I think an Assassin's Creed game could be. However, when you have that bad of a launch, when you have that kind of, I mean, it wasn't Cyberpunk level bad, but it was very bad. That was actually the first game, because I got a bundle. That was I got Assassin's Creed Unity with my console.
Oh right, okay.
And I got that being the first game I logged on to was a bit like,
Yeah, it did have a lot of problems at launch. There was so many bugs, like characters without faces just walking around the world and that sort of thing. Sometimes the game would just completely stop, like your console would just restart because it just couldn't handle it or whatever. Had a lot of issues. I quite like Unity though. I think bugs aside, after they fixed it and made it an actual playable game, the story is kind of AC2 again, just a little bit different. But I think it's actually really interesting, and the gameplay of it is actually quite good. The parkour is probably the best it's ever been. They introduced a climbing down mechanic now, so you don't just have to jump off a building every time. And then the multiplayer is also the best it has ever been in that game as well.
Yes. The way that they actually work that is it's not just an up and a down, it's an across as well. If you just hold the trigger, you will duck under or dive through windows. If you just hold A, you'll go up. If you hold B, you'll go down. Sorry, X and circle for you boys over there. Because even doing it casually, the animations they made for the climbing and everything, it's amazing. But when you really begin to play with it, you can watch people just make videos about here's my epic parkour montage from Assassin's Creed Unity. There is a little subset of the community that really love making good parkour videos. It's quite interesting. I recommend it. Just to check it out. Some of it's cringy when they put because as you boys know, I used to do parkour. Whoa,
absolutely.
Getting into it from Sebastian Foucon's documentary back in 2000, and also early Assassin's Creed. I started doing parkour, and I would go home and I'd play parkour, and then I'd go out and I'd do some more parkour. So this is kind of the peak game for me.
Do you reckon you're capable of doing parkour with enough Monster energy drinks or Rockstar drinks? If you were I know you haven't done it in a while, right?
Yeah, I have not done it in a while. I haven't been outside.
If we loaded you up with 100 Rockstars, would you reckon?
I do think at this point my heart would probably give out, but I would at least get a couple of dash vaults and Kong vaults in before I did that.
And 100 of them rings, so you can take them in and get some more stuff, right?
From Destiny 1 in 2014.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that promotion is over longs.
Oh,
yeah.
I do wonder if the site's still up. I'll check that out.
And I think this one is also the one where the RPG elements were first introduced, more so in just the customization of your character, because you could pretty much everything in terms of outfit and weapons was fully customizable in Unity, and then from there it's obviously massively exploded into what it is today. But yeah, this was kind of the baseline of this. What do you think of Unity, Lawrence? You hate it, don't you?
Right. No. So, I was one of the people that kind of like I had one of the worst experiences loading up Unity. So I bought it, and I was at the time kind of jazzed between that and Rogue as well. And I wanted to, so I got Unity because that was the one that I could have got at the time. And I loaded it up, and I was really excited to play it. And within 10 minutes, I got stuck in 3 walls.
Right.
And I just went, I don't fucking know, I'm not doing this shit. I turned it off. I since then have played it, like I don't know if I've even finished it, to be honest with you. But I've got through a fair like few hours on it, and I thought it was interesting. I definitely see what you're saying about the graphics and the mechanics and stuff, like the climbing through the windows and shit. Like I remember that at the time, and I was like, this is amazing. But it just didn't compel me to stick with it, and I'm definitely wrong for doing so, but I just haven't picked it up again.
I think it's worth a replay.
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the. I think because he is my number 2 top.
Arno.
Arno Victor Dorian is my second. It would be Ezio Auditore da Firenze, Arno Victor Dorian, and then your piratey boy in number 3. Because he really is basically just an Ezio rehash for the most of it. But I think his inner conflict in loving a Templar and everything, it really does work. And it's not
they did like a Romeo and Juliet kind of story.
They did. That was the best thing they did in the game, I reckon. The love story between the two.
I remember really enjoying that aspect of it. Yeah.
What they didn't do was just like be good now, and then the next mission she is. It's like they also blurred the lines with the Templars and the Assassins, where they both did fucked up shit, which is awesome. I love that kind of thing.
Because the guy who recruits you, the assassin, he kills like your surrogate father, doesn't he? And then you have to kill him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Your surrogate father also being a Templar.
Yeah, but a nice one as well. So again,
like the whole inciting incident really is not really your father's death. It's more your mentor's death at the hand of other Templars.
Yeah,
which is really interesting for like you become an assassin because you're framed for the death of a Templar by other Templars.
But your father did die as well, though, and you actually get to play that in the ending of Rogue, isn't it? In the ending of Rogue, you get to kill whatever his dad's called, Mr.
I forget his dad's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do think if you just dash through the story in that, I think you'd be a little bit more compelled.
Yeah. I think you should do it, Lawrence.
Maybe I'll give it.
Also a good opening actually, because that's when they introduced like Abstergo is making. I can't remember if they introduced it there. They might have introduced it in Flag actually, but like they made video games and like things that you can do, and you start in this like you start as a Knight Templar.
And it's like in medieval France you start. Yeah, and it's quite fun.
Did they not do that in Black Flag?
I think they might do that in Flag.
They introduced the video game stuff in Black Flag, but that was just like development stage. But then by the time Unity came out, it's like the console or whatever had actually like the Animus is now a console. I think is what they're doing, and you actually got to like play the game or whatever. So
yeah. Oh, do you know what else they did in Unity?
What?
They did these really quite fun and interesting things where they played with the time element, and you would just get like the Animus would glitch, and you'd end up in like World War II.
Yes, I remember.
And like you'd be like doing parkour up the Eiffel Tower while the Nazis are shooting at you. It was really cool.
And then there was the Statue of Liberty as well. Before it got shipped off to New York. I remember that. Yeah, that was actually really cool. And then that continued in Syndicate as well, because there's a whole section in Syndicate during World War II with Churchill. Syndicate's kind of forgotten, I think, for the most part. Have you played it, Lawrence?
Yeah, again, not for a while. This was
not for a while.
This was the bad taste in my mouth kind of era of Assassin's Creed. But I do remember kind of enjoying Syndicate. That is the one with the Fry twins, right?
It is, yeah. I quite like the Fry twins. They're not the most compelling characters of the series, but I quite enjoy them. What do you think of Syndicate, Garrett?
I think because it's running on the same engine as Unity.
Yeah,
and they tried some interesting. No, they tried. I think that's partly why, because in Unity they were really going for like engine.
Yeah,
they were going for like, we need to make this look as good as possible. We need to code this as well as possible, and then kind of neglected the user experience, which is why they got such a bad rap. Syndicate worked fine. I'm sure one of the reasons for the direction change into more of an RPG was maybe because it didn't do as well.
Yeah.
I would assume. But the actual game itself, I think the idea of having twins and having you be able to play them in kind of different styles, they've got a few different. Ultimately they kind of play the same, but you know, one of them is a bit more stealthy, one of them is a bit more punchy. Was fine. I did not enjoy the combat at all. I think that it just became button mashy, and it was this weird, awful looking fast punches that I hated.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, like Assassin's Creed, when they do those big arcing punches and moves, it may look a little bit ridiculous, but it's far better than just like. That's my impression of
I imagine
of the Fry twins.
Is just that.
Yeah, and the parkour was worse because they introduced a zip line and all this kind of stuff that didn't make it, you know, doing anything like that. They made the streets were wider, and it just didn't really lend itself too well. So that's why they gave.
So they introduced quite a lot of stuff. They introduced, first of all, like you say, the zipline, fucking Batman's grappling hook, essentially. So you could just quickly zip up buildings. Then there was like the fucking carriage stuff. So it was essentially Grand Theft Auto.
Oh fuck! I remember that.
Victorian London. And then there was the gang element as well, which I absolutely hated. I don't mind Syndicate overall, but the gang stuff I really didn't like, just because I thought it just completely detracted from the point of Assassin's Creed. It was just completely in the other direction. You know, there's not this secret order. It's instead, let's be a loud gang and take over all of London. Like, okay.
What do they call the gang again? It wasn't something like the Rooks. The Rooks, I think.
Oh yeah, the Rooks. Yeah, the Blighters.
You're the Rooks. The Blighters are the other ones.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the shit name.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, like there were a few interesting things, like your base was a moving train.
That was cool. Like that. Yeah, that was cool, and I did like the twins as well. They did have some, you know, some fun interactions and stuff, and yeah.
Oh, you know what else is in that? Karl Marx is in that, isn't he?
He is, yeah. You get to like start like a revolution or some shit.
Yeah, and then and then Ubisoft would come out with statements like, "None of our games are political." motherfucking, I'm doing assassinations with Karl Marx. Like, come on.
None of our games. That's hilarious.
I love the warning that comes before every game in AC. That's like, this is based on some stuff, but it's nothing to do with that stuff. Don't worry about it.
We have a diverse cast or whatever. Yeah.
So did Ubisoft say none of our games are political? Because
every large company have always said our games aren't political. Every Call of Duty. Call of Duty, the war game, says our games aren't political.
That was hilarious.
Oh,
I've been playing through fucking Watch Dogs Legion, and that's literally set in a post-Brexit London where everything's gone to shit. So
that's not political.
That's not political at all, Nathan. Come on, Jesus, get with it.
Oh fucking hell! All right, so from this point, this is where things really turn. This is when we've gone full RPG. The game is completely evolved. It's Lawrence's favorite game now. It's AC Origins.
Hey. Didn't they have like 2 years off because the fans went, please stop, and just make a game?
The reason they had a year off is because the movie came out, which is and we all remember how that went. So the movie came out.
Have you seen the movie?
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts?
Well,
bad.
I've actually watched it 3 times.
Oh.
Because the first 2 times I fell asleep, and that's not a lie either. It's actually almost brave that they chose to do. They didn't just go with Ezio or even Altair.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of his character.
Aguila,
yeah.
Right, they went for the Spanish Inquisition, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which was it was almost bold, and at the start I was like, okay, all right, okay. and then it was really shit. And it was just weird.
There's like 3 scenes set in the past, and they're like 10 minutes long each.
Yeah, why the fuck is the Animus a big GLaDOS metal arm from fucking Portal?
Yeah, that's awful. Anyway, that's a bad movie.
Bad movie.
We already talked about it. Anyway, yeah, so AC Origins, Lawrence, go. Tell us why you love this game.
Right. Okay, so basically after my period of AC games where I was like, Unity really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, I was starting to drop off a little bit. Like I don't know, I felt like you get to that part in a franchise where you're like, I don't think this is for me anymore, and you kind of step away subconsciously. I'm sure they were, and if I played them today, I'd probably love them because I'd give them the time. But I wasn't willing to back then. But then Origins came about, and I remember kind of seeing a lot of trailers for it and being like, okay, this looks like it could be, something different, something new. So I picked it up, and I really loved it. I thought the change was so welcome. Like, I love the fact that it was very different in terms of the previous games. I loved the kind of shorter, more kind of condensed story that was like, it kind of almost went back to the beginning, because obviously the first AC game is like, here's 9 targets, go and fuck them up. And in this game, it's like, I don't know, they do it obviously in a bit more of a subtle way, but they're like, here's a list of people we need to kill by the end of the game. I liked that kind of return to the roots. I thought the stealth element was like somewhat lost, but it was a welcome change, because I thought the combat step up, like when you landed in a group of people, you weren't like, oh fuck, you were like, okay, I could probably handle this. And I just think a lot of the new elements, like the bases to take over, it was just definitely for me. And obviously mine and Nathan's favorite thing in AC, my dearest Senu.
I do love Senu.
But yeah, that's me. But Garrett, you're not a huge fan of this, right?
I am not at all. Everything you love about it is why I hate it.
Okay, fair enough.
Apart from Bayek and Senu.
Yeah.
I think Bayek is really good. And I think that he did a great job. But I mean, you're talking about, landing a group of people and like ready to fight, and like, what is an assassin? Isn't the whole point of an assassin right? Like, the whole iconography of assassins, not only in Assassin's Creed, but in not even fiction, in real life, is like hooded, shadowy figures killing from the shadows.
I have a counterpoint to that, but I'll let you. Do you want to carry on, or should we talk about it?
No, go for it.
I was just gonna. So this is like the very first thing in Assassin's history, like in terms of like they literally like buy
not necessarily. The next one is set before this.
Oh yeah, true. But all right, in terms of the Assassins,
but again, that's not really. Yes, you are right, because that's not really Assassins either. So.
Yeah. The hidden ones, anyway. They make it, and they do learn. Like a lot of the game is Bayek learning that he can't just fuck everything up and then problem solved. Like, but a large part of the game is Bayek learning that like people will always be fucked. You can't just kill one, because then another person will take their place, and it's about taking things down from the inside, and Bayek has to learn that lesson. And by the end of it, the game does become more of a stealthy game. The game does, even by the end of it, like they've got the hoods up and they're all running over the building tops, and it definitely does introduce. Okay, we're going to be more assassin-y from now on, if that makes sense. But the game,
but isn't that so the game's over though?
Yeah, but they introduced it, and it's like, okay, cool. So, and then the sequels were stealthy, right?
I'm not talking about the sequels, Gary.
Okay. All right. Well, then Assassin's Creed Origins 2. I'll wait for that.
Okay. All right. I'll take
Origins Revelations. Origins Brotherhood. Origins. What is it? What's the one on PSP? Revolution? Rebellion?
Rebellion, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, I do completely get what you're saying, and I enjoy Odyssey, but I've got my own kind of different qualms with that. But this game itself, Origins, I like.
I like Origins. I think it's in terms of story, it's one of the best. I think it's really cinematic as well. Like previously, like starting in AC1, whenever you killed someone, you was just in this like white room, the Animus corridor, and then you just talked to them for a while. And there wasn't
like
really
10 minutes. They were like,
"Yeah,
killed me. Now what?" And then he'd be like, "You deserve to die." He'd be like, "But okay, I will die. But you did a bad thing. You killed me." I hated that,
and there wasn't really much to them, but AC Origins really stepped it up. They were just like really actual cinematic scenes to watch, and some really incredible stuff in there. I do kind of agree with Garrett though. It is a little bit. Well, it's a huge departure from the franchise. It's not necessarily Assassin's Creed, and I do kind of like the RPG stuff, but I think after 3 games, and this isn't Origin's fault, it's what came after again. But after 3 games, I'm just kind of jaded by it, and I just kind of want to get back to Assassin's Creed at this point.
That's the problem. Is like even Nathan, who enjoys those games, says we need to get back to Assassin's Creed because it isn't Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
You know, my problem is I would probably enjoy the game a lot more if it was just like called fucking Egypt Origins. Yeah. Same with Valhalla. Same with Odyssey.
Odyssey
if they were just these games. If they were just these games where you played as fucking, you know, god killers. And these, because in the next, we'll talk about it, but the next one has like armies and shit. They would be so much more interesting if I wasn't trying to compare them to a game series that I adore.
Yeah,
no, it has gone
completely fair enough.
Yeah, it has gone completely in a different direction to what the series is. Odyssey is, like I just said, Odyssey is barely an Assassin's Creed game, because you're not an assassin. It's thousands of years before the assassins were even a thing. You're just a mercenary in Greece, and then that introduced like you can play as this character or this character. They're different, kind of depending on which one you pick. So yeah, it's a little bit different in that respect. Odyssey was kind of like, whereas Origins was the origin of the Assassin's Brotherhood, Odyssey was kind of the origin of the Templar Order. Kind of, not really, but kind of for the most part. And I did like that, but overall the game is just like, it's just not Assassin's Creed. Like, it just might as well have been called fucking Greek Mercenary or something, because
that's a catchy title, man.
You don't even have a fucking hidden blade. Like, there's no Assassin's Creed elements to it at all.
I think the worst part, as foreshadowed before when I said that I did parkour, if you go and play any of the new 3, and then play Unity, or even 2, it's just like night and day how bad the movement looks and actually feels.
Yeah,
it's complete. Like I do you know how I play those games? I get on my horse and I click auto run, because are you the same?
I'm not. No.
To me, it's just like the movement isn't fun. There's no skill to it. There was some skill, at least, to the free running.
It has no fall damage as well. Like, there's no fall damage in that game.
Yeah, I dislike that.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, you should be dead a large portion of the time.
Yeah. As someone who has rolled their ankle off of a little jump. Yeah.
Garrett, I have a distinctive memory of we were all in a class together at uni, and I came in, and it was shortly after Origins came about, and you were getting teased for using a spear. Are you still a spear user?
What was this?
So we were talking about our favorite weapons, because there's a large array of weapons in the newer games, and I like something. I like my twin daggers, and I like my a big bastard at the back for when I get into some tight spots. Whereas I recall Garrett was playing exclusively with a spear and was getting.
Now you see, the thing is, do you know why people used spears? Do you know why Vikings even used spears? Do you know why the Egyptians use spears?
I don't know why you use spears.
It's because it is actually an incredibly versatile weapon that gives you range. It keeps you safe at a relatively good distance. You can use it over a shield. It's efficient. It's throwable. You can slice. You can stab.
Okay.
It is actually like the pinnacle, really. And I often used a big long spear in Unity as well.
Fair enough. All right.
Not my choice personally. I'm more of a single blade guy myself.
You like a traditional sword?
Keep it classic, you know what
I mean? I mean, we'll get onto how Valhalla didn't have that for the longest time.
It's true. Sadly, it is true. I enjoyed Valhalla at first, but looking back on it now, I think it might be my least favorite game of the lot because it's just, again, it's just not Assassin's Creed, is it? It's just Viking Simulator, run a village, start, Ravensthorpe, and then
they knew that, right?
Yeah.
If you go back and you watch the advertising or like them at Gamescom or E3 or whatever the fuck they went to, they talk about that. They're like, oh, and the Assassin's Order are back because you have fucking what's his name that is also Loki,
Habas or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, that's close to it. I think.
Yeah,
you have him there, and they've set up there, and you do kind of talk to them and learn from them, and you can get some codexes, and they'll give you a special assassin perks, whatever. But it's just not. It feels fucking useless. Now I told you I got 80 hours in the game, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm halfway through the fucking game.
Yeah, this I think that I'll rip the band-aid off. I think Valhalla fucking sucks. Like I did not enjoy any part.
I don't think it's so long, right? The thing is, I was actually really fucking enjoying the story. I was like, I was pretty invested. No, if you just beeline the story, your brother essentially, and you playing second fiddle and kind of being okay with that, and then him, getting jealous and whatever, and then eventually losing his arm and all of this kind of thing. And then I realized I'm only halfway through the game, and I'm so ready for it to be done. Because for the first like 30 hours, I was like, I was relatively enjoying it, and I didn't think I would because I didn't enjoy the last two, and I was having an okay time, and I was just like, all right, well, fuck it, it's an RPG. I'll level a bit. I'll do some side stuff so that I can just mainline the story, and then it just didn't stop. Like I went to fucking Valhalla and did the Valhalla stuff, and then I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, it's done. And then I go to fucking Niflheim, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck am I? Why am I here? And then you've got Helheim, and you've got all this other shit, and it's like, this isn't even the story. You don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know if I'm missing out on things. Like, honestly, some of the best parts of that game were just random side shit.
Yeah, like, I completely agree with that. Yeah,
I found a guy, and he was like, I can beat anyone in one punch. And then I punched him once, and he just fell straight down. And I was like, that was one of the best side missions I've ever done. There was one woman in a little dank fucking sewer, and she's like, "Bring me snake eggs!" Yeah!
Oh, the farting
snake
bitch.
eggs, and then she farted, and I was like, I hate this. Wasn't funny, but I get it. Cool. But I realized that then I've done all of these things for nothing.
Yeah, and it doesn't
because it doesn't progress anything. I haven't earned anything, and it just took fucking forever.
I think Valhalla is the most confused game I've ever played. Like it has no fucking clue what it wants to do with the time. Like Garrett's absolutely bang on. Like you'll be doing a main quest, and it will direct you to a shitty side quest. And then you'll go down this rabbit hole of side quests thinking you're playing the main story. And then it will be like, now if you want to go back to the main story. And I'm like, what the fuck was the last 2 hours for then?
Mm-hmm.
Like
there's a whole section of the game, which is, just like the Norse mythology stuff where you're playing as Odin. And it has no real connection to the actual game itself. It's not mandatory. It's completely optional. You don't have to do it, but it's like 10 hours long. It's just a huge chunk of the game, which is
and that itself has so much side shit as well.
Exactly.
Like that area and that story should really be its own fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird to complain, like, oh, there's so much in this game that's ridiculous. But when you...
But it's empty, though. That's the thing. There's so much in it, but it's empty.
Badly paced.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a problem in a lot of media right now where it's just eyes on product, right? Where, like, watch time on YouTube has to be up, or that's why I've got to put out videos every day, or my movie has to be fucking 4 hours long. No, it doesn't. It does not. Please stop doing that. I would like to play a game for an RPG like that, 20 hours maybe, right?
Yeah.
A good story, Like, say, for example, something like Titanfall. 5 hours, 4 hours. Honestly, give me that. Perfect. If you've made a good game, I'll spend 80 hours in it of my own free will because you've made a good game. I'll replay it on New Game Plus on a harder difficulty, or just again to experience it. If you've made a good game, I'll do that. I've spent more hours in Brotherhood, I've spent more hours in Unity than those 80 hours in Valhalla, willingly playing it again because I enjoy it, not because I feel like I have to. When I finally got him back after he'd lost his arm, I go to the table and I'm like, I've done half of this, and then I've also not done all of the mythological stuff, and then also fucking Vinland and all of these other areas are going to come back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah, it's bloated in the worst way. There's just there's so much to it, but at the same time, nothing to it.
Yeah, it's all was it all meat and no veg?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that the other way around? People want the meat more, right?
Whatever. It's bad, is what I'm saying.
I think like that, and that's one of the reasons I like Origins, because I think the story in that, it takes it. Yeah. Okay, it's not like a strictly by the books Assassin's Creed game, but it does take it back to its roots in terms of here is our clear mission from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that's what will be done by the end of the game. And then when you get to the end of the game, lo and behold, you've done exactly what you set out to do in like 30 hours, maybe more if you do some side stuff, but it's not that long.
I think I finished that in about 45.
Yeah, exactly. And it is tight and it is compressed and it's clear. Whereas I think that's the problem with both Odyssey and Valhalla. At the start, they're like, let's go and do this. And by the end of it, you're like halfway through the game, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Like, I don't even know what quest I'm on at certain parts.
I think the biggest kick in the teeth for me with Valhalla was I finally got through the game, and all the way through you're getting teases of the Assassin Brotherhood. Like you say, there's a bureau at your settlement. You kind of work with them here and there, and they give you like codex and that sort of thing. You find out a little bit about the Brotherhood as you go on, but you're not an assassin. And then the game finishes, and the assassin member there, he invites you to join the Brotherhood. He invites your character. Would you like to become part of it? And he just straight up says no. He's just like, nah, that's not for me. I'm like, well, fucking, what was the entire point of this Assassin's Creed game?
That throughout the entire game, they give you dialogue options as well. Yeah. Like, so it's like, you can say whatever you want to say, or you can choose at least from like 3 options that kind of determine side parts of the story. In that, it's just like, hey, Eivor, do you want to be an assassin? Just card cuts to have been like, nah, don't fancy it, actually. That I remember you, because I finished the game before Nathan, and you told me when you got to that part, and you were just like, I'm fuming with this.
I was raging.
I'm so done. Yeah,
and that's why I said, it's this franchise. It's not Assassin's Creed anymore, which is what I want it to be. It's what I wanted to get back to. I want the stealth mechanics to come in. The RPG is fun in a way, but it's just not Assassin's Creed. Like, save that for another franchise.
I think the problem is that they've equated RPG with ability systems and skill trees, where really, what does RPG stand for? Role-playing game. Yeah. When I play these games, I do genuinely try and role-play. If I play a game that almost seems like it has some kind of morality system, because this game had like choices here and there. You could choose to say different things, and it seemed like you could kind of role-play like a good RPG. You really can't. No. Like it when I first had that fight with the prick, who the prick in like chain armor.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
And you fight him outside because he thinks that you're trying to take the thing. The way that I was playing it the whole time is like, I never said any dialogue options or did anything that looked like I was taking power ever. Yeah. I would always say something like, nope, my brother. Him, it's all him. I'm not me. I'm not in charge. Nope. And it would constantly do that. And then it finally got to the fight, and there was just no real choices there, and everyone hated me. And I was like, all right, well, it feels like I've done all this role playing for nothing.
It's the illusion of choice. It's like it gives you these options, but whichever one you pick, it always ends out the same way, really.
Right.
Like, there's no real difference between them. Right. It's just they'll say this line instead of that line, but ultimately the same thing will happen. So
yeah.
Also, do you guys feel that? I think in Odyssey more than the others, let's say it gives you 2 dialogue options, right? And let's say you're a scenario where I don't know, you get to kill, you can spare someone or kill them. And like the dialogue lines that are presented to you will obviously be more condensed, but they'll be like, no, save him. He's a good guy. And then the other dialogue could be like, let's kill him now, boys. And you press, no, let's save him. And it's like, then what will come out of Cassandra or Alexios's mouth is like, save him. He's no use to me dead. We can kill him later once we've got loads of information. And it's it's like, what? Hang on, I was trying to be good.
Well, that's been a problem in like a few games. In Fallout 4, the exact same problem happened to the point where they were like, oh, fuck. So they just updated it so that you say exactly what you press. I did feel in something like Odyssey, because I wasn't an assassin and I didn't feel like I had a moral code. I did do evil things. For example, I kicked my dad off the cliff during that opening bit. Yeah.
No.
and I almost felt more rewarded for it in it. Like, there was a little bit more choice and it was fine.
In Odyssey, Odyssey is the only one where you can actually kill civilians. Like, if you kill civilians in NPCs in the other games, you like get desynced and you have to restart. But Odyssey, you can kill as many as you like, and you're just never punished because you're not an assassin.
So, because even in Origins, it's like, Medjay, don't do this. Stop it now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so what do you want to see going forward, Garrett?
I want them to stop fucking lying about what they want to do, because the marketing team wants to have it both ways. Because when they were talking about Valhalla, they showed Eivor putting his hood up, and they were like, "Social stealth is back," and they showed him like walking with a bunch of monastery monks, right? And it's like, you're a fucking liar. Yeah. That's a fucking lie. There is no social stealth in Valhalla. There's really not much stealth in Valhalla at all, because it's not worth your fucking time. And even if you are stealthy, you might not be even be strong enough to fight them, because it's an RPG, which is probably my biggest pet peeve in everything. If I stab you with a blade to the neck, you die. That should always be the case, no matter what. And those games took that away from me.
Oh yeah, because you can assassinate, but now you can get you can assassinate, and it's like, oh, I took off most of your health, but not enough, and now you still can tell everyone where the fuck I am. Yeah,
they had to change it, or add a thing in where.
They added an instant assassination thing.
You had to press it at a certain time, which at least is something.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a small little quick time event if you wanted to kill the person in one, basically. Lawrence, you, what do you want to see?
Do either stay in a lane, pick one, and maybe just drop the modern day shit and the god shit. Just give me a game set in the past that's either about assassins or not. And kind of going back to what Garrett said earlier, if you make a good game, I'll play it, and I want to play it. I'm not too fussed about whether they make it kind of mainline Assassin's Creed. Obviously it's more of a brand title than a kind of ethos that the games stick to now anyway. But yeah, make a good game and drop all don't take me out the Animus every 5 minutes, and maybe just cool it with the total gameplay length.
Yeah, for me, just go back to Heroes. Drop the RPG, let that be its own separate franchise. Ubisoft, you can easily start an RPG franchise if you want to. Go back to the Assassin stuff, go back to the roots. Give me a simple storyline with the Assassin Order. What that could be, I don't know. Fuck the modern day, I don't need it. Just give me a simple Assassin's Creed storyline with the stealth, with the parkour in a city that's both crowded and closely built together, so you can actually make use of the parkour as well.
Split the team. Put one team on a big RPG project where it's like, all right, now we're doing Japan, where we're going to do Japanese gods, and whatever, and then do another team that's like, we're making a stealth action game that is Assassin's Creed. That's not going to happen, because the reason these games are called Assassin's Creed is because Assassin's Creed sells, and that's all it ever is going to be.
It's IP at the end of the day, and that's why we're here. But yeah, there we are. That's Assassin's Creed. Thanks for joining us, Garrett. So you're on Twitch at
Ninja.
It's
like Twitch/Ninja.
Twitch/Ninja.
That's good.
And yeah, Storytime Boys. Is that what it is? Storytime Pod?
Yeah, Storytime Boys. Yeah, let's go with that.
So what is it?
What a fan.
I'm not here to self-promote. I don't care.
Fair enough. Well, he's about. You can find him. Thanks for joining us, Garrett. I had fun. It was nice to talk to you again. Nice to complain for a little while.
It was nice having a little chit chat. I'm annoyed that we agreed on a lot of things. Is there anything that, like, I would really fuck Lawrence off though?
Go
Let's see.
on, give it a go.
Tell him you hate Mr. Sunday movies and everything he produces.
Oh, honestly, they're edited like shit. Who
No.
does that?
Yeah, stop it. Cut this out, boys. I've got to pay rent. Please.
I will not.
Garrett, it was a lovely surprise.
You're welcome.
I genuinely did not expect it until maybe the last second. But yeah.
That's a good surprise. I think a good surprise needs a tiny bit of anticipation.
Yeah, exactly. And
otherwise you might like shit yourself and cry.
Exactly. And that was only because Nathan said I've got a surprise. And I went,
oh, okay.
Yeah. You did.
Anyway, I'm going to kick you from the server now, Garrett. So thanks.
That's all right. I just have one final thing to say, and that thing.
Classic. Classic Garrett.
Very good. I hope that noise comes across in the recording.
If not, I'll add it in.
Lovely. Right, well, that was fun. Nathan, thank you very much for the surprise. If you like these episodes...
You're welcome for the third time.
Just shut up, Nathan. I'm re-recording something. If you like these episodes, they go live at 10 a.m. Every Friday morning, so you can give us a listen, get yourself jazzed for the weekend. You can also follow us. That's where you get the kind of the post that reminds you that the things are up. And we are there on Twitter and Instagram at Another Happy Pod. And you can also rate us 5 stars as well if you like, because I don't know, that does something. It pushes us out there. Who knows? Maybe it just inflates mine and Nathan's ego. But yeah, and we won't release another pod until we get at least 27 more reviews. So if you want us to return, you got to post those reviews. Next week, we are doing this.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
Wow, what a fun time. Can't wait for that fun time. Maybe we'll have another guest. Who knows?
We will. It's going to be Beth.
It will be Beth. Yeah, she's our Marvel person. And we're going to be talking about a Marvel film. I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out which one that might be.
It's Fantastic Four 2015.
That's the one. Can't wait. Woo! Right, yeah. Nathan, feel free to wrap this bitch.
I think today, because of in honor of our guest, I'll simply say, your opinion sucks.
Very nice. A Dead and Buried podcast. Very good. There's some gems on there. Go listen to it.
Cars episode. It's good. Anyway, bye.
Bye.